Hi, in this video, I want to show you a onboarding project I made for Concord Junior High School. This was part of a final practicum project for Purdue, but it really helped us put all the pieces together and really focus on seeing a project from start to finish. So rather than some of the pieces we had learned, it was letting us put it all together and really be the instructional designer or in that seat and doing all the work we might do in the future. So one of the things we did was have a timeline just to kind of keep us focused and knowing when everything was due, just like I might have in any business where my customer or my coworkers or my supervisor would know when things would be completed. So it followed the ADDIE process, and everything was broken down into what needed to be done under analysis and how long it might take when it was potentially going to be finished. Then in the design, the development, and in implementation and evaluation, with who was going to do what listed on the side and projected time periods for when that would happen as the project was continuing. And I found that even though I hadn't done something quite so complicated before, that this was a lifesaver in keeping me up to date and keeping me going with what was expected. As part of this onboarding project, I did do a very basic and brief learner analysis where I used my own knowledge of teaching and going through many trainings over the years, but also talking to coworkers and talking to my supervisor who had asked me to make the course. And so we decided to make it not only new or for new teachers to Concord, but also current employees of Concord who might be new to using Canvas. And so we looked at kind of their different skill levels or the problems they may face in doing a training or wanting to adapt to new technology. And same thing to existing teachers. You have highly trained professionals. They have different year levels. And so how do you make this training useful to them, but also quick so they can take what they need and get on with teaching their students? And then I talked about my methodology and how I got there, and just what my process was going to be or my focus as I went forward in the project. All right, so here is the actual course and how we set it up to try to be the most helpful to all kinds of levels of our learners from our teachers. So the guided course was meant to be guided to where it was really locked in with the modules and forced the teachers to go through a very specific order. The Pick Your Path is meant to be an a la carte option where they could pick what they needed when they needed it. And then the resources page was my attempt to kind of put everything that I had referenced and job aids that I had made into one location so that they wouldn't have to go back and think, what video was that a part of? So when you click on the guided course page, you will get it takes them to modules where everything is very much locked down and they have to complete all items, and there are prerequisites that they have to complete all of these before they can get to the start here. Or I'm sorry, before they get to the basics, because they've done the prerequisites of start here. And I did that all the way down. So it really is designed to be a course that has some instructor control on what they do when. If from the home page a teacher clicked on Pick Your Path, they would get to a more open page where there's kind of like an idea of a table of contents, still some of the same language, a start here, the basics, the specifics, and even the same, it's the same information, same video titles, but now they can go and they have free reign of picking what they want to pick for what they want to learn at that moment. If I click on Building a Quiz, it'll open up a page, and all the pages look very similar. They start with a video. All videos have subtitles on them to make them more accessible. And below each video is a job aid that goes through just the highlights of what the video covered. So they wouldn't have to watch the video if they felt they were confident, but just needed that one step they always forgot to do. And now for some reason, my job aids are not loading. They are there, but I think it's something to do with the Google authorization. So I have this job aid open. So this one goes along with building a quiz. It's going to have some very basic information and pictures to help them remember what they should be seeing if they're building a quiz in Canvas. Now, the last section to look at is the resources page, and this was designed to have, I guess, all the extra information they might need, like things from Canvas or things from our school district's digital learning team, but then also things that I had used throughout the course that they might want to have access to. So a couple of things to point out are like the video infographics or the job aids. So on that page, it's going to be a PDF of all the job aids I had used, because one thing I felt like our trainings were lacking is just a one sheet of paper that could remind me of the basic steps without me having to go back and find a video and watch it again. And I found that when I talked to other coworkers, they felt the same way. So on this page, they could click any of them that they wanted, they could save them to their computer, or they could print them for easy reference. Another thing was giving teachers examples. So when we talk about setting up a module or a course, rather, like their actual course page, what that could look like. So this is used in the modules that I created, but it gives them an example of an elementary page, or it gives them an example of maybe what a high schooler or junior high teacher might use. It gives them an idea of how they can do their headings and kind of make things more creative, or how they could even really get into it. And this was designed for teachers to use as a template to where they could really go through and what kids are going to do in class, what they're going to do at home, references or resources they might need. And so just showing teachers that they can get very basic in how they organize things, and each page can get very detailed. And we felt that just teachers don't always, Canvas is such a big slate and such a big open slate, they might not know how to do that.